The mansion had stood for centuries, its stone walls bearing witness to generations of laughter, tears, and secrets. But when the Smith family moved in, they knew they were not alone. As soon as they stepped inside, Emily, the youngest daughter, felt an eerie presence. She clung to her mother's hand, her eyes scanning the dusty chandeliers and faded portraits. "It's just old," her mother reassured her. "It needs some love and care." But Emily knew better. She sensed the weight of history, the whispers of forgotten conversations, and the shadows that seemed to move of their own accord. As the family began to unpack, strange occurrences started to plague them. Doors creaked open and shut on their own, and the sound of footsteps echoed down the hallways at night. At first they dismissed it as the usual settling of an old house, but soon the events became more frequent and more intense. One night, Emily woke up to find a figure standing in her bedroom doorway. It was a woman in a long, flowing gown, her face twisted in a mournful expression. Emily screamed and her parents rushed to her side, but when they turned to confront the intruder, there was no one there. As the days passed, the hauntings grew more aggressive. Objects moved on their own, and disembodied voices whispered cruel taunts. The family tried to research the history of the mansion, but every lead ended in a dead end. It was as if the house itself was hiding secrets. One stormy night, the family huddled together in the living room, trying to distract themselves from the creaking and groaning of the old wooden beams. But then, the lights flickered and died. The room plunged into darkness, and the family was surrounded by an oppressive silence. Suddenly, a faint whisper seemed to come from all around them. "Welcome home." The family froze, paralyzed with fear. And then, the lights flickered back to life, revealing a sight that made their blood run cold. The woman in the flowing gown stood before them, her eyes blazing with a malevolent fury. But as the family watched in horror, the woman's face began to change. Her features softened and her eyes filled with a deep sadness. And then Emily saw it, a faint resemblance between the woman and herself. The truth hit her like a ton of bricks. The woman was not a ghost, but a future version of Emily herself. The family had not moved into a haunted mansion. They had moved into their own future. The strange occurrences, the hauntings, were all echoes of events yet to come. The woman's mournful expression was Emily's own future grief. As the family watched, the woman's face faded away, leaving behind only a whisper, "Remember." The Smiths knew then that they had to leave. They packed their bags and fled the mansion, but the memory of that night stayed with them forever. And as they drove away, Emily caught a glimpse of herself in the rearview mirror. Her eyes seemed to hold a hint of sadness, a whisper of a future yet to come.